What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Coming at you with yet again another perfume experience. And for today, I have actually two Ensar Oud samplers that apparently are no further available on the website because the atelier section is completely gone, which means that if you were trying to get these two florals or any of these standalone aromatics from the website, it probably might not be there for some time. I think they're doing a lot of rebranding constantly and a lot of different marketing of the same sense. So maybe they will come back in the future. But for today, you guys, I have none other than Italian Neroli as well as Japanese rose. So today you're getting something extra special where we're doing two raw ingredients that are used in the Ensar Oud line. And yeah, so I would have loved to cover some of them using as well as the description off of the site, but like I said, the atelier section is gone. So what you're gonna get today with me is just an experience of these oil samplers, as well as I'll be sharing my thoughts with you just as a reference point for you in case you can get these on secondary market, or if they do come back again on the website by updating the atelier section, you would be able to obtain them when they have them again. So what I'm gonna do is I will start with the Italian Neroli just because I'm already pretty familiar with rose, and I've covered a few of the roses they have on the Ensar Oud website with you guys. So we'll do something different and get started with the Neroli. So here we go. Being very careful with this. This, you guys, is delightful. It most certainly is Italian, and I'll tell you why. It reminds me when I was a kid and I used to go to the barber and he had the Italian aftershave, those old school bright yellow aftershaves. This is what it reminds me of, the very floral yellow aftershave, and you could buy it also and use it at home. And this is straight up this is straight up like child memories unlocked again. Wow. Now obviously the barber shop stuff, they add alcohol and other stuff to it to work as an antiseptic, but this standalone, man, that barber shop. And I'm not talking about the modern synthetic. Like, I want you to go further, maybe into 70s, 60s, and 50s. So if you actually, you know what? If you live in Italy till today or anywhere in the Mediterranean, you most likely can get barbershop products that smell straight up of Neroli. Not the synthetic English stuff. This, wow. God, I should have obtained a full bottle of this because my God. I'm gonna say one thing about this house is that their oils are second to none. The raw oils. This is just amazing. So a few things to say about this. It's floral, it's citrusy, it's zesty. It has this bite to it. It does have, I can't quite put my hand on it, almost like like off of the top of the vial when I smell it, it has this sort of like fresh paint quality to it that doesn't last for long, which is very different than when I do smell it from the applicator here. The applicator gives me straight up floral, zesty, citrusy, but here, yeah, I mean, this is stunning. In one of my other uploads, the jasmine one, I did tell you guys that I would procure, and I did go ahead, and I'm so happy I did obtain a full tola of jasmine. But this is the first time I'm smelling this, and I'm I'm already regretting not pulling the trigger on getting a full vial of this. It's such good memories, you guys. It reminds me of the men in my family going to old school barber shops that do hot, wet shaves. Yeah. And it's not a feminine citrus by any stretch of the imagination. It's a very masculine, not a feminine floral, but a very masculine floral. Which I find a lot of the time, natural florals tend to be pretty masculine up until you process them or you make synthetic versions of them, and then they become feminine. But this, yeah, this is good stuff here. I will say that if you can get your hand on this aftermarket, or if they bring it back again on the website, definitely blind buy full tola bottle worthy. If you're into old school barbershop scents, yeah, this is a no-brainer. You would definitely love this. And you know what? I'll talk to you a bit about what I think, where I think this would fit in terms of performance. I'm gonna say that with this one, you guys, you can actually probably get pretty strong performance out of it. It has a very strong projection, and it will leave a strong trail and sillage with this one. It is pretty potent. And like I said, if you are familiar with this old school Italian Neroli barbershop aftershave scents, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about here. So this is gonna have a strong projection trail and sillage. Okay, with respect to seasonality, this isn't really a scent that you would determine by season. It's more in terms of application. But I will go ahead and say that it is versatile enough to wear across all seasons, and you'll see shortly why. With respect to time of day, this has to be a morning wear. You wake up as part of your getting ready routine, brushing your teeth, showering, shaving. You would apply it after you shave because it has this very traditional aftershave scent. Now, granted, this on its own will not work as an astringent or as an antibacterial for your aftershave, but if you apply it with your aftershave that is neroli based, you're gonna have this enhanced effect. This has this sort of morning freshness, cleanliness facet to it. It is an amazing scent to start your day with. You can still use it through the day, but let's face it, realistically, you are shaving, getting cleaned up, and getting ready in the morning, so it's the best time to apply this in the morning. With respect to how you would dress this, I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is very versatile in terms of how you would dress it. You can do casual, semi-casual, formal, or formal, okay? But let's be realistic here. Given that it's a traditional masculine scent profile that is associated with getting ready and prepped, it's probably gonna be a very good scent to start your day off as you're heading out to work. So you're gonna dress this formally, most likely, as you are heading out and tackling on the world, projecting this professional, clean, sharp image, okay? This scent is perfect for formal, but I wouldn't hesitate to dress it, more casually, okay? Now, with respect to context, again, the context here is gonna be a bit flexible in the sense that given that you're always gonna start your day with this, any context that is in the morning or the start of your day will be perfect. So that would be going to work, maybe going to the gym, maybe going to a coffee shop, maybe going to your tailor. Anything that you're tackling early on in the day is gonna be fine with this. Okay, I don't really see it in terms of uh, context that come in late afternoon or the evening. Is just too fresh to wake up in your face. It's very energizing as a scent, you guys. Like, you smell it and it wakes you up and energizes you. So it's not really a scent you want to wear later in the day, especially if you're slowing down. So keep that in mind too, context wise, is that you want to put this early on to tackle situations that require energy. Okay, so in terms of, gender spectrum, again, I do find that a lot of natural florals like Neroli is masculine leaning and masculine forward. However, ladies, do not shy away from it. You can still wear it and enjoy it. I just think that Italian Neroli has been used quite a bit in masculine forward sense, so it makes much more sense for the guys to get it. But I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's versatile enough for the ladies to put it onto, or you can get it for your favorite man and have him apply it, because it is really one of those masculine florals that just doesn't come across as feminine whatsoever. Okay, so with that said, would I recommend Italian Neroli from Ensar Oud if you can get it, if they do ever open the atelier section of their website again? Yes, 100%. Get your nose on it, get your wallet on it, cop it, blind buy this. You will not regret it if you're into an old school Italian aftershave scent. Okay? Can't remember if I mentioned this, but I am not grabbing coffee today. I've already had way too many coffees and I am buzzing. So I'm taking it easy on the coffee. But you guys out there, if you want to take a break, pause the video, go grab yourself your favorite snack, your favorite beverage or cafe, and sit back and relax and enjoy the Japanese rose coming your way from Ensar Oud. So yes, next we have Japanese rose. And you know what? The reason I did 2 uploads of these today is because, like I said, I've seen the descriptives and them using on the website, I would have been able to give you more of a information, especially coming out from the artisanal producer. But given that that is not the case, I decided just to pull these 2 together and just give you my experience. So hopefully that works for you guys. All right, so let's. God, I need to be careful with these. Wow. Whew, that burns in the back of my throat. What is this? Interesting. Whoa, this has sort of like you're inhaling isopropyl alcohol through your nostrils. Like there's a burn and a rush. Okay, interesting. Yeah, this is, whoa, okay. Like literally just goes in, burns my nose and the back of my throat. So let's start with the scent profile. This is weak. Yet somehow it has that effect. In terms of a rose scent, so off of the top of my head, I'm not getting any jamminess. I'm not getting any citrusy notes. I'm getting a very delicate rose with slight lotioniness to it. There's a very slight herbaceousness and greenness to this. Yeah, it's very... Yeah, very, very weak as a scent, but it has this very strong alcohol-like vapor rushing through my nostrils and the back of my throat. So, smells like a very young, almost virgin delicate rose. I'm what I mean by that is when you grow out roses for the first time, the first yield or couple of yields or a few yields are what's called a virgin yield. So they tend to not be very big. The stalk of the rose isn't thick enough and the perfume isn't that strong. And that's because the bush is still developing and growing to produce that actual quality rose. And that's what this reminds me of. It's very subtle, but also it's very airy also. Just something to keep in mind. But I don't know what that burning sensation is. Okay, I think that's enough because it's weirding me out a bit with that burning feeling. So, let's speak a bit about this. In terms of performance week, your projection, trail, and sillage are very, very low with this. I don't even know how you would apply this on its own, or if it's even worth obtaining and doing that, unless you're mixing it with something else, okay? It's compared to some of the other roses I've reviewed on this channel. If my memory serves correctly, Rose de Mai, Rose SQ, and maybe some of the other ones like Roh Gulab, or can't remember if I reviewed even all of these. Okay, I mean, relative to a lot of the other rose oils I've smelled from this brand, this probably is the most delicate and the most delicate and weakest of them. Okay, so performance-wise, I wouldn't expect much. If you obtain this, you need to mix it with something else, especially something that gives it a lift, so you actually can get some performance out of it. Okay, with respect to seasonality, I mean, listen, this will barely work in winter or fall, okay, because the cold weather will kill it. Spring also, I mean, very iffy on it. Summer maybe, as long as you combine it with something that gives it a lift, like a musk or an alcohol, or like anything like an isocentric molecule 1, or is it isocentric isomolecule? There's those like molecule perfumes that are basically straight up ambroxan. So maybe if you mix that with the ambroxan, which is a synthetic musk, it will give it a bit of a lift so you can actually smell it. But honestly, on its own, I wouldn't even say it's a skin scent, okay? So you're not getting performance out of this. So possibly summer, as long as you mix it with something else to give it that lift, okay? With respect to time of day, listen, this will be overwhelmed during the afternoon or the evening. So the best time to put this on, again, assuming you mix it with something to give it a lift, would be in the morning, okay? Otherwise, it's just not worth it, okay? So morning wear. With respect to how you would wear or dress this, I wouldn't say formal. It's not a formal scent, but it's not also a casual scent. So this actually would work great as a semi-casual, semi-formal. Again, keeping in mind that you need to mix it with something to give it that lift. Now, with respect to gender spectrum, I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is unisex. It can work either male or female depending on what you mix it with. Right now, just as a neat, it comes across more as masculine leaning, so just something to keep in mind. Context wise, I mean, this one is a bit tough because I don't see much utility out of it as it stands alone. I'm gonna leave the context piece out of it. I'll leave it to your discretion. It's just this one is a bit different, and compared to the other roses out of that house, it just doesn't measure up, to be very frank. I know that at the time when I did obtain it, and they did have it on the site, the Japanese rose, that they were raving about how the harvests are far in between, and that the yield is very limited, and it's very rare and exotic and scarce. And I see why. It's very, very delicate. I just don't see it working on its own. This is definitely a kind of rose you need to put into a formulation for it to come across and shine. But as a standalone, it's very, very difficult for me to say, hey, go for it standalone. Okay, so final thoughts on the Japanese rose. I I'd say that don't get it as a standalone unless your intention is to make your own formulation. Okay? And then again, in my subjective anecdotal experience, I think the House of Ansar offers other rose oils that are way superior to this, like the Rose de Mai, like the Rose SQ, like their Roh Gulab. They had also Georgian Rose, the rose from I think 1978 or 1981, the one used in Oud Royal. Some of these roses are miles, you know, galaxies even ahead of this. And this one, if my memory serves correctly, it doesn't come cheap either. So just be careful around this. I'd say get your nose on some of the other rose offerings from the house before you make your final decision about this. Me personally, I wouldn't get this just because it's just not the kind of rose I enjoy. But perhaps for some of you, you would enjoy this. The other thing I will say about is that that quality. I don't know what method of extraction they use for this one, but this one has almost of a very subtle boozy quality to it, which is very weird. I've never smelled that in a rose oil before, and maybe that's why I'm getting that burning sensation in my nostrils and the back of my throat. So there's also another thing to keep in mind. Okay, so what I will say to wrap this up is that I 100% recommend the Italian Neroli. It's fantastic. And as soon as they offer it again through their atelier section on the website, I will be obtaining it. If not, I'll probably reach out to them in an email and see if they can offer it to me just privately. And the Japanese rose, not my cup of tea. Maybe it's yours. Just make sure to grab a sampler and try it out. I just think the house offers way better rose oils than this, in my humble opinion. Okay? With that said, you guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. As per usual, very much appreciate your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.